Over. I'm all I wanna be.
The 90s are remembered as a loud decade. Big hits, big singles, songs that dominated charts and defined the era. But that version of the decade isn't the full story. Because some of the most important rock songs from the 90s didn't top charts or become instant anthems. They lived in album tracks, late-night radio, and repeat listens. They weren't failures, they were underrated, and their meaning didn't hit all at once. It revealed itself slowly, over time, and in hindsight. That's the gap this video is about. Number 1. You Know You're Right by Nirvana. There's something unsettling about hearing a voice you know is about to disappear. You Know You're Right doesn't sound like a farewell. It sounds like resistance, tension that never finds release. Kurt Cobain isn't trying to explain himself here. He's circling something painful, poking at it, backing away, then coming back harder. That's part of why this song sits awkwardly in Nirvana's legacy. Let's talk about someone else. It wasn't framed as a defining moment, more like an artifact, a final transmission discovered later, not fully processed at the time. People didn't want this song to mean what it clearly meant. It arrived too close to the end, too raw, too unresolved. For years, it lived in a strange space, respected but emotionally avoided. Not because it wasn't powerful, but because it forced listeners to confront something uncomfortable. That some artists don't get closure, only honesty. This isn't a goodbye. It's what happens when there's no time left to soften the truth. Number 2. Release by Pearl Jam. Release feels like standing alone under an open sky, unsure whether you're asking for forgiveness or permission. Early Pearl Jam is often remembered for confrontation, clenched fists, crowd-sized emotion. But this song does the opposite. It opens their debut album by pulling inward. That quiet confidence confused people. I'll wait up in the dark. In a genre that was quickly becoming defined by aggression and volume, Release was patient, bare, almost prayer-like. The underlying reason it stayed underrated is subtle but important. Vulnerability didn't fit the narrative yet. Intimacy was mistaken for weakness. And softness in the early 90s was seen as a flaw. Over time, though, the song found its people. Not through radio saturation, but through late-night listens, headphones, moments when volume wasn't the point. Release doesn't demand attention. It waits for you to be ready. Number 3. Slaves and Bulldozers by Soundgarden. This song doesn't rush, it presses down. Slaves and Bulldozers feels heavy in a way that has nothing to do with distortion alone. It's slow, grinding, and unapologetically long. Everything mainstream rock tends to resist. That resistance is exactly why it never crossed over the way other Soundgarden songs did. It demanded endurance. And endurance doesn't sell easily. The problem wasn't quality, and that it was commitment. You couldn't half listen to this track. It required you to sit with it, to feel the weight build instead of explode. Over time, it became something else entirely, a live ritual. A song that transformed on stage, growing more massive with every performance, even if it never became a radio staple. Heavy doesn't always mean loud. Sometimes it means refusing to let go. If you're drawn to this kind of slower, more reflective look at rock history, the kind that lives between the headlines, you might want to stick around. Number 4, Nutshell by Alice in Chains.
And yet I fight this battle alone.
Nutshell sounds like someone running out of explanations. There's no anger here, no confrontation, just a quiet admission of distance. From fame, from expectation, from self. That honesty is precisely why the song struggled to exist comfortably in the 90s. It didn't dramatize pain, it accepted it. The underlying reason this song stayed underrated is painful but simple.
Gift of self is rape.
People didn't know what to do with unfiltered vulnerability, especially when it came from a band associated with heaviness. Over the years, Nutshell became one of Alice in Chains' most emotionally resonant pieces.
If I can't be my own.
Not because it aged into relevance, but because listeners finally caught up to it. Some songs don't ask for understanding, they just tell you where they are. Number 5, Bittersweet Symphony by the Verve.
'Cause it's a bittersweet symphony.
Most people recognize this song within seconds and still miss what it's actually about. Bittersweet Symphony became a cultural object
That recognize the pain in me, yeah.
before it became an emotional one. Commercials, movies, headlines. The story around it grew louder than the song itself. That's the disconnect. Familiarity without intimacy. Stripped of its mythology, what's left is exhaustion. A song about motion without progress. About walking forward while feeling trapped inside the system that rewards you. The legal drama froze the song in a specific narrative. But the emotion underneath never stopped resonating. It just stopped being heard clearly. This isn't an anthem of triumph. It's a soundtrack for persistence when victory isn't guaranteed. Number 6, Planet Telex by Radiohead. Planet Telex doesn't introduce itself. It drifts in, half-conscious. Like the moment after waking up when the world hasn't fully sharpened yet. As an album opener, it was a strange choice. No hook in the traditional sense. No obvious statement of intent. Just atmosphere, distance, and Tom York sounding deliberately removed from his own voice. That's where the distance lives. People were still trying to understand Radiohead as a band with singles. Planet Telex was already looking past that idea. The underlying reason it stayed overlooked is timing. This song belonged to a future listeners hadn't arrived at yet, one where mood mattered more than immediacy. In hindsight, it reads like a quiet refusal. A band signaling that accessibility was no longer the goal, even if it cost them attention in the moment. Some openings aren't invitations, they're warnings.
Smash, smash, crack, bushwhacked.
Number 7, Drive by REM.
Maybe you did, maybe you won't, maybe you rock around.
Drive doesn't arrive with confidence. It moves slowly, almost cautiously, as if unsure whether it should be heard at all.
What if you did, what if you won't, what if you tried to?
Released as the opener to Automatic for the People, it confused listeners expecting momentum instead of restraint. Michael Stipe sings in half questions, turning what sounds like advice into something closer to a warning. The song isn't about freedom. It's about surrendering control and letting direction replace choice.
I tried to get on, baby.
That ambiguity kept it from dominating radio. Drive demands patience in a decade obsessed with speed, hooks, and certainty. Over time, it became more durable than a hit. It became an entry point into reflection, asking whether movement without purpose is really progress. It endures because quiet songs often outlast louder ones eventually.
Wanna hold the hand
Number 8. Fade Into You by Mazzy Star. Fade Into You barely raises its voice. In a decade that rewarded presence, big choruses, big personalities, this song chose disappearance. Hope Sandoval sings like she's careful not to disturb the air around her. That restraint is why the song was underestimated for so long. It didn't perform emotion. It inhabited it. The reason it slipped through the cracks is simple. Subtlety didn't photograph well in the 90s. You couldn't package this song as an attitude, yet it endured, quietly. Passed from person to person, moment to moment, without ever needing reinvention. Some songs don't demand space, they wait for it.
Cool kids never have a time.
Number 9. 1979 by the Smashing Pumpkins.
Shakedown 1979.
1979 feels like motion, cars moving, lights blurring, time slipping sideways.
Wish I would never see an end to it all.
At first glance, it sounded lighter than what people expected from the band. Cleaner, more approachable. That surface-level ease caused it to be misread. The conflict is emotional disguise. This isn't a carefree song. It's about watching youth pass in real time and not knowing how to stop it. The underlying reason it wasn't fully appreciated then is that nostalgia usually needs distance. In 1996, listeners were still inside the feeling.
Justin never knew the rules.
Only later did the ache become clear. Now it stands as one of the decade's most accurate emotional snapshots. Not because it tried to define a generation, but because it admitted uncertainty. Some memories don't hurt until they're over.
Take the time to make some sense of what you want to say.
Number 10. The Masterplan by Oasis.
We're all part of a masterplan.
It's hard to overstate how strange it is that this song was a B-side.
All night's endless corridor. Say it loud, sing it.
The Masterplan strips away the bravado Oasis built their image on. What's left is reflection, almost humility, delivered without irony. That's the tension. This song didn't fit the myth.
Dance if they wanna dance, please, brother, take a chance. You know they're gonna go which way.
And because it didn't fit, it was sidelined. The underlying reason is confidence turned inward. At a time when the band was rewarded for swagger, this track offered perspective instead.
On the other hand, won't make you understand.
Over the years, fans elevated it themselves, not through charts or campaigns, but through recognition. The quiet agreement that something important had been hiding in plain sight. Sometimes the clearest statement is the one that wasn't meant to be heard first. Number 11. Lucky by Radiohead. Lucky sounds like hope, but it never quite trusts itself. There's lift here, swelling guitars, a sense of escape, yet it's fragile, almost provisional. As if the song is testing optimism rather than declaring it. That's why it often gets overlooked. It arrived during a transition, wedged between Radiohead's human anxiety and their coming detachment. Not radical enough for what followed. Not immediate enough for what came before. The underlying tension is uncertainty. This isn't confidence. It's relief mixed with disbelief. The feeling of surviving something and not knowing why you did. Over time, Lucky revealed itself as a hinge. A moment where hope was still possible, but no longer simple. Sometimes optimism isn't bright, it's careful.
Oh, make me over. I'm all I wanna be.
Number 12. Celebrity Skin by Hole. On the surface, this song sparkles. Celebrity Skin was loud, catchy, and polished. Everything people claimed Courtney Love couldn't be on her own terms. And because of that, it was dismissed as shallow far too quickly. That dismissal is the blind spot. The song isn't celebrating fame, it's dissecting it. The underlying reason it stayed underrated is rooted in who was holding the mirror. Self-awareness from women in rock was often mistaken for vanity, especially when it came wrapped in gloss. Over time, the irony sharpened. What once sounded like confidence now reads as critique. Sometimes the sharpest knives are hidden inside shiny packaging.
I burn like a wicker cabinet, chalk white and
Number 13, Inside Out by Eve.
swallow my doubt, turn it inside out, find nothing but faith in
Yaiz, this song sounds like it's smiling. And that's the trick.
Jesus. I think sick like ginger ale, with my stomach turn.
Inside Out arrived as upbeat alt-rock, catchy and easy to dismiss. But underneath the bounce is anxiety, self-doubt, and emotional vertigo.
I'm not as ugly sad as you.
The mismatch is in tone. The 90s weren't good at recognizing discomfort unless it was dramatic. The underlying reason this song slipped past deeper appreciation is that humor was treated as insulation.
Tender, born in a blender, watch it spin around to a beautiful oblivion.
If you weren't visibly breaking, people assumed you were fine. Years later, the lyrics feel uncomfortably accurate. A song about losing control while pretending you haven't. Sometimes the joke is the defense mechanism.
Waiting on a Sunday afternoon.
Number 14, Interstate Love Song by Stone Temple Pilots.
Feeling like a hand in rusted chain.
This song feels like motion without destination. Interstate Love Song is smooth, melodic, and emotionally tired, qualities that made critics suspicious at the time. Smoothness was mistaken for calculation. That suspicion became the friction. Authenticity debates drowned out what the song was actually saying. The underlying truth is exhaustion, not anger, not rebellion, just the slow wear of relationships and expectation. Over time, the song endured because it didn't posture. It accepted emotional fatigue as a reality, not a failure. Not every breakdown is loud. Some just keep driving. Number 15, Everlong by Foo Fighters. Everlong is often remembered as an anthem, and that's exactly what hides its vulnerability. The momentum, the volume, the way it fills a room, all of that can overshadow what the song actually is, a confession about connection and fear of losing it. That's the cost. Popularity flattened meaning. Underlying reason it's underrated emotionally is that sincerity arrived wrapped in power. People heard confidence where there was longing. Over time, though, the song proved durable. Not because it was loud, but because it was honest enough to last. Some songs survive because they say something true and refuse to let go. Looking back, these songs weren't failures of exposure. They were victims of timing, expectation, and a culture that rewarded certainty over complexity. The 90s didn't lack depth. It just didn't always know how to sit with it. And maybe that's why these tracks keep finding new listeners. Not all at once, but gradually. In moments when noise stops working. If one of these songs meant something different to you than it did back then, I'd be curious to hear why. And if this kind of slow, thoughtful walk through rock history resonates with you, you know where to find more of it.